Okay, so the next thing we're going to move into is the musical element we call harmony. So we just finished up with melody, which is one note at a time, one after the other. Harmony is when we have two or more notes that are played at the same time. So melody and harmony are different, but they do have to work together. So we're going to be working on harmony with this, and we're going to be using a new app. For this, we're going to be using Logic. So to get to Logic on your computer, you're going to want to go to the dock and click on the Launchpad, which is that silver rocket. That'll give you all the apps that you have. And I believe Logic looks like this, but I believe in your computers it's going to be on the second page of apps. So if you use that little ball on the top of your mouse and swipe from right to left, it'll get you there. But once you find Logic, you can click on that, drag it down into your dock. It should make some room for it, and you can drop it on the dock. And then once you get it there, if you click on it one time, it will bounce around and open up for you. Now, Logic is very similar to GarageBand. So GarageBand is what Apple considers its consumer DAW. Logic is actually their professional DAW that's used for professional audio producers as well as sound designers. So when you get into Logic Pro and to start, you want to have an empty project. So double click on empty project, and you should get a window that looks pretty similar to GarageBand, where there's like the green and then the two blue boxes, and you're going to want to create a software instrument. So that'll be the green box for you. So software instrument and create, and that's going to open up your window in Logic. So the first thing I would do is check to see if your sound is working in Logic. So you can do that by clicking on the loop browser over here in the upper right corner. Now, when you click on that, it may say that it's like uploading your loops, and Logic does have a lot of loops in it. So it may take a minute or two for that to upload, but once it finishes uploading, you shouldn't have to do that again. Just like GarageBand, you can click on Instrument, you can go to All Drums, you can filter through it by genre, but if you click on one of these, you should be hearing sound. Now, if you don't hear any sound, here are a couple of things to check. First of all, up in the upper right edge of the window, you have this little microphone. So for you, when you click on that, I'm sorry this is cut off, but you should have some options, and one of those options should say Steinberg, the Steinberg device, so make sure that's selected. If that's selected and you still don't hear any sound, the next thing you need to do is come up to the left edge where it says Logic Pro and click on Logic Pro. And then from Logic Pro, you want to go to Settings and Audio. So in the audio settings, you want to find Output Device and click on Output Device. And again, you're going to look for the Steinberg. I don't have it on my computer because I don't have a Steinberg attached, but you want to find your audio interface that you have, which I believe is Steinberg. Click on that, and then after you click on it, you have to make sure to click this Apply button in the bottom right-hand corner of the window. So you click on Apply, and so now if you have Logic Pro set where the Steinberg is an output and you have output selected for your master control, then when you click, you should hear sound. If you do all that and you still don't hear any sound, then check to make sure your headphones are plugged in, make sure that the volume is turned up on the back of that left headphone, or make sure everything's plugged in, but that should work. Okay, so that's going to get you into Logic. Now, just like GarageBand, here in the upper left, you have this button that are your presets. So I would recommend, a lot of these are similar, but they are going to be different. Logic typically has more options. But You can start on the bass, or you can get a lead synth, whatever you want to try. Let's see what we've got. Ooh, I don't know that I like that. Let's turn this down a little bit. All right, that'll be fine. Okay, so the next thing you're going to do is, if you go to your Launchpad, you are going to press the pad that says keys right next to user. So the user should still be set up for your bass and your melody that we did for the last project. But for this one, you're going to switch to keys. And when you go to keys, you should notice that the keys are purple and green. If you press just one of these pads at a time, that's melody. But when we talk about harmony is when we have two or more notes played at the same time. So you can take two fingers and press two pads at the same time. Okay, so now if you play two or more notes at the same time, what you're playing are chords, or what we call chords. So I would pause the video now and take a few minutes just to explore. Like I said, just take three fingers and just put them down on any three keys and see what comes out. Yeah, hit pause and try that out. I'm going to try some others here, see if I can get this to work. Oh, that works. Yeah. So that's a nice sound. This is under classics, synthesizer classics. It's kind of cool, choir sounds. So anyway, so now you're playing around with playing chords just by doing two or more notes at the same time. Now, I want to show you something else in Logic that's really, really super cool. If you come up to this upper left corner and look for this eye that's in a circle, this is called the inspector. So if you click on that, you should see this pop up. So when you're looking over here at the preset library, I want you to go through and keep an eye on this area of the inspector. And like if I click on this first one and then just use my arrow keys on my keyboard, I can navigate up and down the list. And what I want you to look for is see if you can find a sound where you see this button that says MIDI FX show up. So it could be, you can see some of them have this MIDI effects and others don't. So try to find a sound that offers those MIDI effects. Go. So the Dream Dancer, this one's nice just to kind of start off with. So once you find a sound and you have MIDI effects, click on this little button that says MIDI effects. And what I want you to look for is the chord trigger. And you're going to click chord trigger. Now once you click on that, you're going to see this window pop up. Now the thing that's cool about the chord trigger is now if I press just one pad on the Launchpad, it's going to play a chord. So I'm not really sure that I like this either. So I'm going to go with the FM piano and then find this button that says MIDI effects. Click on that and then find chord trigger and click on the chord trigger. So this window is going to pop up. Now, if you go back to the Launchpad and just press one pad, the chord trigger is actually going to generate a chord from you playing just one of the keys. Which is really pretty cool because now you don't have to worry about like what pads to push down and using three fingers and all that kind of stuff. So now would be a really good time to pause the video and just take some time playing around with the chord trigger. And if you want to try different sounds, you can, But just notice when you go to different sounds, that chord trigger is not going to be on. So as you move around, you're going to have to go back and turn the chord trigger back on in order to hear it. All right, so experiment with that for a few minutes. You can stop this video and close it, and then I'm going to add another video that'll show you what to do next, so this video doesn't get too long. So yeah, have fun playing around with that chord trigger.